Over 5 million people in England and Wales live and work in properties that are at risk of flooding from rivers or the sea. The Lower Derwent has a well-documented history of flooding, with over 40 floods occurring since 1587. The most recent flooding took place in 2000 and 2007. Whilst few properties were flooded, there was significant disruption to local traffic. Most of Derby's existing flood defences were built in the 1960s and 70s, and are mainly walls or grass banks. These defences do not protect Derby to the standard we would normally aim to provide. In the Lower Derwent Valley, there are up to 3,600 properties that would be affected by a severe flood. This is a flood that has a 1 in 100, or 1%, chance of occurring in any given year. If a severe flood was to take place, residential properties and local businesses would flood, and although insurance would be paid out to those covered, local people may have to be moved out of their homes temporarily, or even permanently. Of the businesses forced to close, the effects of a flood may mean they are unable to open again. Transport and essential utilities, including electricity and local sewers, would be affected. There would also be major access problems both to and from the city. On the back of the Environment Agency's Lower Derwent Flood Risk Management Strategy, Derby City Council and the Environment Agency are working together to reduce flood risk in Derby, while unlocking economic potential and regeneration opportunities in the city. We now want you to view and have your say on our proposals before we finalise our master plan. In our master plan, we have identified 7 key opportunity sites that could be transformed along the banks of the River Derwent. These are Darley Abbey Mills, Darley Abbey Playing Fields, Ada Bliss to City Road, Duke Street and the Struts Park residential area, St Mary's Bridge to Holmes Bridge, Derwent Street and North Riverside, and finally Meadow Lane to Castle Ward. At each site we have looked to reconnect our city with our river, minimise the required height of the flood defence, incorporate the defences more naturally into the public realm, unlock economic potential along the Lower Derwent and create a first-class river frontage, and come up with a series of improved flood defences, some of which will be integrated and delivered as part of new development proposals. The 18th century Darley Abbey Mills are part of the Derwent Valley Mills World Heritage Site and are an important part of Derby's history. We propose to increase the standard of flood protection to the mills by raising the existing defences. This will include the need for floodgates either side of the current toll bridge and across Haslam's Lane. These gates will preserve existing access routes for vehicles whilst providing robust defences. We would also like to build a new footbridge over the river between the mills and Darley Abbey. This would ensure that there is an escape route in a severe flood, as well as improve access and promote regeneration. All of this will need to be done very sensitively to preserve the international status of the site. On the eastern end of Haslam's Lane, a further floodgate is required along with new defences to protect Alfreton Road Industrial Estate. Our plan is to raise the existing defences along the eastern edge of the playing fields, which will protect Alfreton Road Industrial Estate and prevent floodwater flowing into the homes in Little Chester. On the southern edge of the playing fields, we propose to realign the existing defence further north through measures such as landscaped earth banks. This will help preserve the archaeological remains of a Roman fort and maintain access between the local community and this recreational area. We propose to raise the existing defences around the listed farmhouses of Derwent House and Stonehouse Prebend. And at Parker's Piece, we will work with English Heritage, the local community and other stakeholders to develop a solution to replace the existing wall. Our master plan would encourage redevelopment along the City Road side of the Ada Bliss site, with flood defences incorporated as part of new buildings. These buildings would back onto an attractive riverside walk along the eastern bank of the river, which would provide an alternative pedestrian access into the city centre. Just south of here, people living at Etruria Gardens are protected by an existing flood defence wall. We propose to move the wall and improve the landscaping nearby, creating a new, attractive riverside walkway. Similarly to the AWS site, our plans also include new flood defences as part of new development in the City Road business area, enabling further regeneration. Our master plan recognises the important residential area of Strutt's Park and that residential properties in and around Duke Street are at risk from flooding. We want to find a solution that will better protect local people and properties from the risks of floods, whilst using this as an opportunity to improve the riverside area. We have looked at the possibility of constructing a flood defence wall. However, this would need to be around 2.7 metres high to provide the Duke Street area with an adequate flood defence. A wall this high would separate the community from the river and potentially isolate a number of buildings within the floodplain. While encouraging regeneration, we are keen to develop our plans in close partnership with the local community. At this important gateway to the city centre, we would like to provide new flood defence measures that would improve the look of the area, increase the public use of the riverside, and re-establish Derby's historic links to the river. This includes ensuring that we safeguard the significance of the Silk Mill and St Mary's Bridge as a nationally important heritage asset, as well as the associated listed buildings of the chapel and St Mary's Bridge House. Our proposals include new flood defences at Full Street and as part of Phase 2 of the Riverlights project, with new floodgates at the end of Exeter Bridge. Flood resilience measures to the Silk Mill, electricity substation, and at the refurbished Council House. The use of Sota Road underpass to pass more floodwater around St Mary's Bridge. Works to Christchurch Court. And a landscaped embankment behind Riverside Gardens. Our ambition here is to maximise the potential of the area offered by its waterside location and unlock opportunities for regeneration. We propose to develop defences through a design process that builds robust flood defences as part of new building developments to the east of Phoenix and along Exeter Street. The area between the new development and the existing buildings along Stewart Street, which line the river, would allow a corridor for the carrying of flood waters. However, to create this area, a number of existing commercial and office buildings would need to be removed east of Stewart Street and through to Bio House and then Exeter House. As part of the regeneration of this area, the existing road layout will be improved, a new city park, including some car parking space, created for visitors to the city, and a pedestrian footbridge developed for emergency access for the Stewart Street Riverside properties in the event of a flood. To protect these properties from flooding, one option would be to relocate the bus depot and redevelop the existing site, including Meadow Road, and incorporating defences as part of this new development. New highway and access improvements would provide alternative routes to Meadow Road and the redeveloped site. To maintain the existing standard of flood protection for the Derby Telegraph, improved flood resilience measures would potentially be needed. To the south of Station Approach, in the Castle Ward area, regeneration potential is already being recognised. The required construction of flood defences along Station Approach will mean that local properties and people remain protected. The height of this new defence means that a new pedestrian and cycle bridge will be required to connect the Castle Ward area and Bass's recreational ground. We also have a responsibility to protect communities at risk of flood in downstream areas. Proposals are likely to involve the raising of existing defences, but we are also looking at options to move the defences through the sand and gravels pits by Chaddeston Sidings and through the Chaddeston Triangle next to Wiven Way. This short film has shown you that through innovative planning, design and delivery, we want to create a first-class river corridor. To help us finalise our proposals, we are keen that everyone has the opportunity to have their say on the Our City, Our River master plan. You can get involved by reading our master plan on www.ourcityourriver.co.uk and give us your comments by completing the online response form on www.ourcityourriver.co.uk. You can also pick up a leaflet and return the enclosed response form from one of our community access points. These are local shops and businesses in and around Derby City Centre, a list of which are on our website. You can email info@ourcityourriver.co.uk ourcityourriver.co.uk. You can call the information line on 0800 121 4633, or you can write to us at Freepost OCOR. You can have your say on the master plan up until the 9th of March, when we will be finalising the master plan. It will then help the Council determine future planning applications within the area, as well as being used to promote and advance development proposals along the Lower Derwent. Thank you for watching. Your views will help to shape the future of Derby as a vibrant city with an attractive river corridor.